All right, let's go into this. Let's listen to what Jeremy Sohan had to say, and then we'll listen to Chris Paul.
How
after.
long you giving us? 30.
Okay, first and foremost, I'm vibing with this. I know ripped clothing gets a lot of hate, but I like it.
2 minutes.
You've come so far this year. You don't want to ruin on a down note, Jeremy.
Snap.
It says Saint. I'm gonna look up the price of this. How much you guys think it's gonna cost? How much you think it costs? What if I screenshot it, if I can find it, and like, I don't know. We'll see. How much you think it costs? Put your predictions. How much is this hoodie?
Or that t-shirt, Cannon.
Oh, that was sick. It's got power in it. I didn't know how much power it got in it. That was really cool.
In it.
I might have to do that after my career. I might.
Much power.
Yeah.
In it.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, I found the brand.
If they pay me, good.
It's the third last day press conference you're doing. What feels different about this one as opposed to last year?
What feels
What color
different?
is that? Gray?
We finished better. No, I think, again, it's funny, it's crazy. It's the third year. And every year, I feel like there's been a progress. It's been, again, it's the process. But I think, this year, we've, leaped. And again, I think it's super exciting to,
All right, so I found the brand, 250. Well, I found the brand. Somebody said 1,300. I don't know if this is used or not. This is $50, but this is not obviously the same thing.
Most of us are getting healthy, so this summer's gonna be huge. It's gonna be a big summer. So no, we're super excited.
Sort of your takeaway from the season. Where do you think you guys have made the strides?
Yeah, strides. I think consistency again is something we're always gonna push for and want more. But I think this year, we're kind of figuring it out, finding it, and we had a bunch of different.
By the way, I say this with my whole chest, okay? Jeremy Sohan was the most consistent player we had. As far as a pillar, knowing what you're going to get night in, night out. Everyone brought effort. I wouldn't say anybody didn't bring effort. I think consistently everyone brought effort, but as far as what he is for your team, that defensive anchor at times, especially when Wemby isn't on the court, he's been pretty consistent. I think that he's been quite reliable as a pick and roller, as a defender, all that.
Additions to the team. So again, it's finding chemistry on both sides of the court. But I think we've definitely done a lot of good stuff from even if you look from last year, and we had some really good games as a team. So again, it's super exciting, and I think everyone's super motivated and ready to keep growing and keep meshing as a team, as a an identity and a culture. So no, super excited.
It's kind of a weird year. You had so much
Yeah.
happened to you guys.
Yeah, no. Again, I think, it was a tough year. You can't. It's the pop situation, injuries, even travel. It feels like this season. Out of the 3 years I've been here, this season felt like
Okay, I'll look it up after the segment.
we wasn't home at all. The Paris trip was a week long. Christmas we was in New York for a week. We were in LA during the wildfires. So again, it wasn't the easiest situations that we were put in. But again, I think you learn from those situations and grow as a team, as individuals. And I think we're gonna benefit from all of it. So.
I think Mitch handled a pretty unconventional situation, and even just his own job was.
Yeah, again, this is super, unconventional, and again, he was put in a spot that he wasn't expecting, we wasn't expecting. So I think again, he's learned a lot, we've learned a lot, and overall, we learned and grew, and I think that's the most important thing.
You remember anything about the first game he coached, the first time he was in the...
It's crazy how the Spurs always, like our championship runs, we always had a pretty diverse group of guys, right? I kind of love it. I love it. It's like, even though everyone comes from different cultures, Spurs culture is one, right? You just have to have the right type of attitude. I don't know. Random thought.
The locker room as the acting coach. Do you remember anything about that?
No, I definitely remember. I remember it was a stretch of games. I know we played Minnesota. Was that the first game? I knew it.
Minnesota.
See, I know my stuff.
Minnesota.
No, again, he came. He was super motivated. A lot of energy, a lot of fire, and that's the type of coach we all want to be coached by, and it was good. Again, it's gonna be different from Pop, but overall it was good, and we learned a lot, and I think that's the most important thing.
Do you have a clear understanding? This might be overly simplistic, but do you have a clear understanding of what this team is and what your role on it is heading into this offseason?
Yeah,
That's a good question. But yeah, I think it's pretty obvious what his role is.
I think I have a better view. I think again it's tough because of the role my role this year, and to be honest, the last 2 years it was all over the place. So that's not.
That's one thing that I'll say about Sohan too. Even though you had to move him, or you decided to move him in so many different directions, I never felt like, oh, he was just absolutely awful. And I think that leans on his defense. As a point guard, yeah, obviously that wasn't pretty. Obviously that was not pretty. But I think he learned from that. Obviously, he's finding guys on the court more easily. But moving him to the center position, and when we had to go small because we don't have a backup center really, I thought he's done a pretty solid job, all things considered, right? And he still managed to be one of the top defenders in the NBA, like top 10 defenders in the NBA. So that's just really impressive to me. So even though his role has shifted, and that's what they got him for, right? He's a guy that, you can have him come off the bench and he can be effective. You can have him start and he can be effective. You can have him at this small forward, power forward, center position at times and be effective. You can have him guard 1 through 5, preferably 2 through 4, but he can be effective. That's why they got him. But it's still impressive to see nonetheless. That was the reason I wanted him before the draft even hit.
The easiest thing for me personally, but I think as a healthy team, I can see myself and I know my role, and yeah, we'll see. Again, this season and this summer, there's gonna be changes. There's gonna be different things that happen. So, again, I think for me, it's just constant improvement, working on my game, and just proving myself. And again, I have an opportunity in Eurobasket, and then in the open gym and training camp, and that's the cycle that we're in, and super motivated, and I'm gonna get after it this summer.
Talked about that role. I mean, over the last 2 years, you played starting point guard and you played backup center and everything in between. What have you learned about the mental side of the game and what it takes to sort of adapt to whatever is thrown your way?
Yeah, it's not easy. Again, sometimes it wasn't
I'll be honest, he make moving to the center position look easy.
comfortable, but I think that's exactly what you said. That's how you adapt. And one thing I've realized is if you're consistent with the energy you put in the 50-50s, the things that don't really show up in
Barnes possibly leaving gives Sohan more opportunities. I don't think like that. Don't think like that. I actually don't think Barnes held anybody back, and I don't think that Sohan got less opportunities because of Barnes. I think he mostly got less opportunities because we didn't have a backup center. Like that's all it is. His role just shifted so often. That's all it is. I don't think it has anything to do with that. And his injuries this season didn't help. So
stats, that's what gets you going. That's what helps with the stats. That's how you get easy points, easy rebounds, steals, or whatever it is. It's just working hard, being relentless and just, really kind of, respecting and obeying the basketball gods. So that's what I kind of learned. And, hopefully, again, it's funny because the last 2 years.
It's crazy how he says, like, yeah, you got to go 100%, play hard. Like, he's always been like that, though. You guys, I really encourage you to go watch his footage from Baylor. He's been like this forever. Like, it's in his blood. The dude's a killer.
Like that. So, we'll see.
Jeremy, I've asked everybody if they had a specific like Chris Paul moment or memory or story, and everybody laughed like that, like something immediately came to mind that they couldn't share, and then they spoke generally. Do you have any specific Chris Paul?
What did he do to
memories
y'all
from this season?
I'm trying to think. I don't think it's one moment, but probably just like the way, he, I don't know, just respects the game. I think I never like seen someone talk to like referees like he does, and that's not in a bad way. That's in a good way. He's just super vocal. I think when you look at it, it's just passion. The way he loves the game, he respects the game. He's in year 20. Has done everything.
It's like a badge of honor, man. He really does respect it. He does respect it. He doesn't take any shortcuts. That's one thing that's pretty cool. But yeah, that is true. And I hope, if anything, I really hope that, because I don't think, let me say this. I don't think me as a fan, I got exactly what I wanted out of this season when it came to Chris Paul edition. What I was expecting was for us to get, and I don't even think this is Chris Paul's fault, right? But I wanted us to get to a point where we fully understand, all of us, unanimously, where Wemby needs the ball. And I don't really think that's changed that much this season, right? I just don't. He definitely helped as far as opening things up. He definitely helped as far as getting Wemby more of those lobs that everybody wanted. But I don't really know if we've gained more knowledge on where Wemby needs the ball to be the most consistent. I don't really know. But with that being said, I don't think that's his fault, right? We had Pop go down, after All-Star break. We had Wemby go down. So maybe we would have got there. But, I didn't get exactly what I wanted out of it. I thought that we would have more of a clear blueprint as far as what an offense should look like with Wemby consistently, but I don't think we really got that. But, it is what it is. But, yeah, I hope, this is what I was going to say. I completely blanked out for a second. This is what I was going to say. What I really hope that Wemby takes from the Chris Paul situation is I hope that he starts to be a little bit more vocal with refs. Because he said even himself, like, it's not my job to play politics, like, and talk to refs. But you know what? It kind of is. Like, it's not, but it kind of is, right? Like you could just extend it out to other things. It's not my job to, be in the press conferences and talk to the fans and be honest. And, like, maybe not. Like, it's not in the job description technically. Well, I guess that isn't your job description. You do have to do press conferences. But talking to refs, that's just a part of the game. And I hope that he gets better at that. Everyone had to do it. I thought Manu was really great at it. So, yeah.
Made the money he needs, and again, he could be in flipping, I don't know, Hawaii doing nothing, and he's here in San Antonio, Texas, busting his ass, 82 games, like. Just doing his thing. And I think why
they blocked that out? That's why it took so long to upload these. They had to edit it. Let the man say what he want to say.
Busting his ass, 82 games, like just doing his thing. And I think that's what I've noticed, and just the passion that he has, whether it's coaches, players, referees, the opposition, sometimes the fans, like. He's going to respect the game and he's going to, fight for it. So I think that's what I, experienced.
Think you can get away with talking to the referees the way Chris does?
That's a good question. No comment.
Maybe don't try it.
No comment.
Maybe don't try it.
What message?
That's
Coach
Carolina.
Lynch was mentioning how the Spurs fans, they're still really ecstatic tonight and excited for you
Yeah.
guys. What message would you like to convey to the Spurs fans about what you've seen with your chemistry and the team's direction moving forward and things they can look forward to from you guys next season?
Oh, she's talking directly about me. So yeah, so what do you want to tell Clan the Spurs fan, Sohan? What is it that you want to let Clan the Spurs fan know? You guys can witness this if you like, but yeah. What do you want to tell Clan?
Yeah, I think the first message is we love y'all.
Y'all, I'm just one person. He probably misspoke. Yeah, he probably misspoke.
Again, without you guys, it's, the energy's not there always. So
Without you, Clan,
you guys give us that boost.
I give you that boost. Okay.
And I think, the next, season, the next few seasons, I think they're just going to see a lot of energy, a lot of fight.
We.
Players that are determined on defense.
My pronouns are he. It's okay.
Bring back that nasty for real. And, just.
How do you not like that? How do you not like that? Bro literally said, bring back the we never get anybody bring that up. It feels like, at this point, it feels like an inside joke, right? Like all we the only ones that know about I want some nasty. No one brings that up. No one talks about that. That iconic moment in Spurs history, playoff history even. But he brought it up. He said we're gonna bring back that nasty. Come on, man. How do you not like that? Get off. If you don't like that, you don't like Spurs basketball. Get off my team. I don't want you to be a fan of my team anymore. But anyways, yes, let's let Sohan continue on how I inspired him or whatever.
Bring back that nasty for real, and just play hard, play connected. That's one thing about San Antonio and the history and the culture is, being together, staying together, connected. And that's not only the players, it's, the coaches, the front office, the fans, being connected with everyone and the community at the end of the day. And I think that's the most important thing for us, and, we're going to get it. Thank you.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. What? Pop said that when he was probably like 7? Yo, wait. I think you might be... I think you legit might be right. Pop said it like in 2012, I think. So 13 years ago. You're like legitimately correct. That's crazy to think about. Dang, July. I remember that moment. We lost to OK. We're not talking about this. We're talking about that specific game. That specific game was iconic, okay? The Spurs came back in that game. He said, I want some nasty, and they brought that nasty. I mean, we're not going to talk about how Ibaka just, like, murdered us. Didn't he go, like, 7 for 7 or something in that last game? That was frustrating. So, and the Pop fan? Yeah. That was good. I enjoyed that. Yeah, 2012? Yeah, that's what I thought.